one thing that has been causing Hobie sailors misery for years is the rudder cam. I think we should take a look at what we can do with our rudder cams. Firstly, stop them from inverting, and then what we can do when they invert. Yes, hello, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV, and yes, we are going to take a look at how you can reduce the amount of problems that you have with your rudder cams. The rudder cams are the plastic pieces inside the rudder system that holds your rudder in the down position. But the problem is, sometimes when you lift the rudders, your cam is left in the incorrect position. This is what we call an inverted cam, meaning that you can't lock your rudder down the next way. So if you do have to lift your rudders while you're on the boat, like to say if you're coming into a fairly rocky beach or something, then the way that the cam will invert is if you just lift this bar straight up. However, if as you lift the bar you pull it towards you a bit, then you're more likely to keep the cam in the correct position. Let's try that. It didn't work. Okay, so that doesn't work every time, but you could try that. So on this particular 16, and in fact on all of our 16s, we do keep the rudder cams wound up fairly tight because we're sailing the boat so often in a strong wind. But if rather than just lifting straight up like this, you lift and pull towards you, then there's a chance that your rudder cam will stay in the right position. So let's just take a quick look and see what is actually going on inside the Hobie rudder system. It's exactly the same if you're using the closed lower casting like on a 16 or 14 or Dragoon, or the open casting like you'd have on an 18, 20, or perhaps a Tiger or Pacific or similar, or Hobie 15 of course. Let's not forget the 15. So the first piece that we have is of course the rudder cam, and then locating into the bottom of the rudder cam we have got what's called the plunger, which is this piece, and that engages in the rudder cam in both positions, and that's how it will be when the rudder is locked down. Let's keep it in the lockdown position. Then we have a spring which fits under the plunger. That's what gives the cam the ability to flip up and down because it's a spring. And then underneath the spring we've got a plastic screw which pushes against the spring, and that's how we adjust the amount of tension required to lift the rudder up. And then inside the tiller arm we've got the cam stop plate which locates here, and in theory when the rudder is lifted this gets flipped, which puts the cam back into that position. But if the spring is too tight then this can't happen. But on the other hand, if the spring is too loose then the rudder might kick up just by the pressure of going along. So that's why we have a delicate balance with the tension on this screw. So back over to Joe in the moorings for some solutions. Perhaps the most common way to get your cam back to the correct position is using a large flathead screwdriver like this. All we have to do is insert the screwdriver blade into the side of the cam like that, and then we're going to twist it and lever it at the same time, which will pull the cam back to the correct position, so then it will work the next time. This is an old piece of windsurf boom with a piece of rope which is just tied inside to cause a little loop. And then with this one, this works quite nicely. We just hook it under the bottom part of the cam, which we'll call the chin. The top part we'll call the nose. and then we could just pull that down, and that's a very easy method to get the cam back. But of course, if you want to do that, you're going to have to make one of these. Just for reference, this is a little bit longer than my forearm, and the rope length just takes a little bit of experimentation to get it right, but then it is something you could keep in the pocket of your 16 for easy cam flipping. And the next one, and this can be quite hilarious if the person doing it loses their balance, is we could take the main sheet and we're just going to hook that onto the nose of the cam, and then making sure that everything is lined up. Oh, it is pretty. In fact, I'm not sure. Nah, that's not working with this one. Again, this one's wound up too tight to use that method. So, okay, this is a very good method you can use, again, using the main sheet, so you don't need any extra tools. If you put the main sheet under the chin of the cam there, and then with it fairly tight, keep the rudder down, and then we're going to cross this over, and we're just going to cross it over, pull it tight. So we're crossing it over, pulling it tight on top, and we'll just do that again. There we go, so we've got that crossed over, and then we'll just pull it up, and then that pulls the cam back upright. I'll just show you that one again. So we'll just invert the cam. There we go. So we put the main sheet under the chin of the cam, put the tiller arm down, and then we're going to cross it over the top, and we're crossing it over the top where the casting meets the tiller, just there, and then we'll cross it over once more, making sure we're gripping it all, and then we'll lift it up, and there we are, cam in the correct position. I won't say every time, but more times than not. This can take a little bit of practice, but this can really save you if you're out and you've got an inverted cam and you want to get it back. Okay, so we've just changed boat. This is a Pacific, but we'll just try this method with the Pacific. Just need to make sure we've got enough main sheet, and then I'm going to hook it under the chin, bring the tiller arm down, then we're crossing it over and over, holding that tight, and now we're pulling it up, and there we go. So that is a proven winner for flipping your cam back upright. So there we go. I hope that has helped in some way. Do check out that how to service your rudders video for a bit more of an insight into how to get it all running nicely. Also the how to service your rudder stock video as well, if your rudder stock hasn't been looked at for a long time and everything's a bit seized up. That could be helpful too. But there you go, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with some more on Joyrider TV. Thanks again to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed to Joyrider TV, and there will be more great catamaran sailing action and tutorials coming up very soon. Thank you very much.